After that, I think you were part of the movie, huh? That you went came and then asked about what had happened. Are you sure? You're not to the right. Yeah. And I mean, we went to some of the people that you said the judges had done the wrong thing. And we said, why? They after they do this, there's a really private sort of guarantee. Coming out, open. Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you know, it actually become a new. You should play the business. This guy's so bad, you can't speak, can't play the law, and it's it's not a lot of
The Honorable Dango. Are you okay, the Honorable Dango? Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm saying.
It's good to sleep in Parliament. Siyabangena.
Recording in
Thank you
progress.
very much. Yes. We will now observe a moment of silence for prayer or meditation. Just to remind delegates that rules and processes apply for this hybrid sitting. So I'd like to remind delegates of the rules relating to virtual and hybrid meetings and sittings, in particular sub-rule 21, 22, 23, and rule 103, which provides as follows: that the hybrid sitting constitutes a sitting of the National Council of Provinces, that delegates in the hybrid sitting enjoy the same powers and privileges that apply in a sitting of the National Council of Provinces, that for the purpose of the quorum, all delegates who are logged onto the virtual platform shall be considered present, that delegates must switch on their videos if they want to speak, that delegates should ensure that the microphones on the electronic devices are muted and must always remain muted unless they are permitted to speak. That all delegates in the chamber may connect to the virtual platform and must insert their cards to register on the chamber system. That delegates who are physically in the chamber must use the floor microphones. That all delegates may participate in the discussion through the chat room. And that, in addition, to remind delegates that interpretation facility is active. Permanent delegates, special delegates, SALGA representatives, and members of the executive of the virtual platform are requested to ensure that the interpretation facilities on their electronic devices are properly activated to facilitate access to the interpretation services. And that permanent delegates, special delegates, SALGA representatives, and members of the executive in the chamber should use the interpretation instruments on their desks to access the interpretation services. Honorable delegates, I also wish to indicate that there'll be no notices of motions without notice in accordance with the Council Rule 2291. We will now proceed to the questions session, but I'd like to take this opportunity to welcome the Deputy President, Honorable Paul Masatila. Welcome all permanent delegates, the MECs, and all special delegates to the House. Further, I would like to remind delegates that in terms of Rule 229 of the Council rules, we should note the following. This is very, very important, honorable members, because from time to time, we tend to stray and not keep to what is expected of us. Firstly, that the time for reply by the Deputy President to a question is 5 minutes. That only 4 supplementary questions are allowed per question. That a member who has asked the initial question will be the first to be afforded the opportunity to ask a supplementary question, and that the time for asking a supplementary question is 2 minutes. That the time for reply to a supplementary question is 4 minutes. Sometimes things tend to be very interesting, and yeah, we tend to lose it. And lastly, that the supplementary question must emanate from the initial question. I now call on the Deputy President to approach the podium. Honorable members, the first question to which the Deputy President is going to give a response is a question on high unemployment rate among the youth. This question is being tabled by from Honorable Mtsube, and is directed to the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Chairperson, let me start by wishing well all those celebrating happy and blessed month of Ramadan. May it be a turning point for the people of Palestine and the oppressed throughout the world. Honorable Chairperson, in October 2020, Cabinet approved the National Youth Policy 2030, which is a cross-sectoral policy intended to redress the injustices of the past and deal decisively with the new challenges affecting the youth. As part of our commitment to reduce youth unemployment, the Minister of Finance has announced an additional 7.4 billion rand set aside for the Presidential Employment Initiative for 2024-25. Thus far, the Presidential Employment Initiative has assisted 1.7 million people through a combination of job creation, job retention, and income and skills support interventions. Honorable Chairperson, in addition to the South African Employment Service System, which serves over 7 million job seekers, provides nationwide platforms for youth to register for employment, match the employment opportunities, and receive placement counseling. Through public-private partnership, government support various internships, learnerships, and apprenticeship programs across various government departments to provide experiential learning and facilitate entry into the labor market for young people. By supporting SMMEs, government is playing a critical role in addressing South Africa's youth unemployment crisis. Government is also implementing Preferential Procurement Policy Framework Act to promote small, medium, and micro enterprises that are key to job creation and economic growth. Chairperson, we must continue to strengthen multi-sectoral partnership to increase opportunities that promote youth empowerment and participation in the labor market. We believe that together we can contribute to national efforts to create employment, particularly for young people. In this regard, we know that the President has initiated a number of programs that will assist in supporting efforts for young people. That is anchored around the National Youth Policy 2020 to 2030. They include, amongst others, Presidential Youth Employment Intervention, National Pathway Management Network, Youth Employment Services, Public Employment Services, and also the support for those young people who want to go into businesses and become entrepreneurs through the business development support, and also Amavulindlela Youth Challenge. And in this financial year, the Minister of Finance has provided an additional budget of 3.7 billion rand to support compensation of employees in the health sector, particularly for employment of nurses and medical doctors. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. The first supplementary question will come from Honorable Mtsube.
Thank you very much, the Chairperson of the Council. The Deputy President, let me also appreciate and welcome the profound and detailed response. It is quite welcoming when you consider the era which we came from of COVID-19 and the unrest. I think the government is really making a progress, including you gave the stats of about over 1 million job opportunities that have been created and the capital that has been set aside to fund the youth opportunities. Deputy President, I just want to benefit again that how will the government deal with the challenges to reduce unemployment amongst the youth graduates and the persons above 35 years of age? Thank you very much, Deputy President.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mutsumi, for your question. Let me reiterate once again that these initiatives, particularly led from the presidency, are very beneficial to young people, including in the age that you refer to, below 35 years of age. The South African Employed Services System records about 7 million job seekers, most of whom are young people who have now been assisted by platforms that have been created to assist them to access opportunities. But also we do partnerships in this regard with the private sector, where we support internships for young people, learnership in various fields like apprenticeship and other initiatives. But particularly, our support is anchored mainly among young people who are involved in small, medium enterprises, are the biggest beneficiaries of these programs. And we are going to continue to extend this support going forward. Thank you very much.
Very much, Deputy President. The second supplementary question will come from Honorable Tim Protesef.
Thank you, Chairperson. Mr. Deputy President, one of the primary factors contributing to high youth unemployment in South Africa is the fact that many young people leave the schooling system with little or no skills, making them unemployable. A practical solution to this problem is the inclusion of vocational artisan training within the existing school curriculum, or alternatively to ensure that all learners that leave the schooling system early, that is the basic education system, are absorbed into TVET colleges. In reality, however, Mr. Deputy President, your government has allowed millions of learners over the past 10 years to enter the marketplace without usable skills. Mr. Deputy President, you may remember a time when children who were out of school during school hours were encountered by truant officers who made sure they went back to school. My question to you then today is, what will your office do to urgently implement vocational training in schools and also to enforce by law the principle that learners must be at school or TVET colleges until they have obtained practical skills that will contribute to the economy of South Africa? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. In fact, we are doing exactly that. We are making sure that we resource TVET colleges, and a lot of young people now do go to TVET colleges, which provide real skills for them. Vocational training in schools, yes, that's something that we were discussing with the Minister of Basic Education to ensure that children are provided skills at an early age. But we are now channeling a lot of them to TVET colleges. We know that in the past, all young people, particularly leaving high school, would prefer to go to universities. and not TVET colleges. But we are winning that battle now to make sure that we redirect the youth to go to TVET colleges to get hardcore skills and be able to be employed in industry. So yes, Honorable Member, I think it's very important that when young people leave schools, they leave with real hardcore skills so that they can be employed. Thank you very much for your question.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now move over to the third supplementary question, which will come from Honorable Muletane. Honorable Muletane.
Thank you, Chairperson. Let me apologize. I'm experiencing the load shedding where I am now. Deputy President, there has been very little progress with the unemployment rate. The sad reality, which we have been faced with for the past 10 years, is that your at addressing the matter have failed. The unemployment rate for young women has remained high, and it has remained highest among the Black people in general, in comparison with other demographics. Does the Deputy President agree that this alone demonstrates the ruling party's inability to invigorate the economy and create jobs? Thank you, Chairperson.
Deputy President.
Thank you, Honorable Member. One of our priorities as the governing party is, of course, stimulating economic growth. If you look at all our policy documents now, particularly our current manifesto, you'll see that the issue of economic growth is top on the agenda, because we accept the fact that unemployment is quite high, standing at around 32%. And the young people are the mostly affected ones there. We know that there are almost more than 4 million young people who are unemployed. So we are prioritizing this issue because if the economy does not grow, it's going to be difficult for us to be able to deal with unemployment. So it must be growth, but growth that will be able to absorb jobs. Secondly, I agree with you that those who are affected are young women in particular. So as we particularly assist with skills, we're also focusing a lot on young women as well. But there are various other initiatives other than what the national government is doing. We also see initiatives in various provinces. If you go to Gauteng, the Premier of Gauteng started a program called Nasi Spani. And if you look at that program, it's really targeting the youth. They do employ adults as well, but in particular, that program is targeting young people and they offer them skills. So it's not just jobs. I know that at the beginning, some people are saying, no, these are useless jobs. But in fact, a lot of those young people get good training as they are enlisted in that program. So that's something that we think should be considered in various other provinces. I know that in provinces like in the Northwest with the Tunsalerule program, a lot of the people who are involved, they are young people as well that the Premier has brought on board to get involved in those service delivery initiatives. So we are supporting young people, particularly young women, to get the skills, and we are prioritizing the issue of employment. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The fourth and supplementary question comes from Honorable Hadebe.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Deputy President, we can all agree that the high rate of unemployment amongst our youth is alarming, and it's creating a generation of citizens who are left feeling hopeless with the current government in place. I would like to know whether the government has conducted an assessment of the effectiveness of the current efforts to address youth unemployment, the disjuncture of skills alignment in the job market, and if so, what were the findings? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. We are as concerned as you about high levels of unemployment amongst the youth, as I said earlier. I don't have a report that I can give you at the moment around any surveys that has been done. But as we work in various communities on the ground, we engage with a lot of young people. There are a lot of initiatives that are being directed by provincial governments, and even in some instances, municipalities as well are beginning to implement programs that train young people, but also creating opportunities. But we have decided that we will drive a lot of this initiative from the presidency as well, through the programs that I highlighted earlier, the presidential youth employment initiatives and all those programs, because we believe that when young people are given opportunities, they are able to take up those opportunities. I mean, if you look at the Presidential Youth Employment Initiative, more than 1.7 million young people have benefited through that platform. So we're going to continue to push for those initiatives to ensure that we can deal with the high levels of unemployment. Unemployment, tackling unemployment, let me put it that way, is a big priority for us, particularly to ensure that young people don't loiter around, but opportunities are created for them. Thank you very much, Honorable Mayor.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We now proceed to question number 2. This question is on addressing skills shortage. The question is being tabled from Honorable Laboskachne, and is directed to the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Laboskachne, thank you for your question. Honorable Chairperson, after the 4th Human Resource Development Council Summit that was held in 2021, partners who are represented in the council, comprising government, business sector, organized labor, and civil society, signed 3 social compacts. The compacts are aimed at strengthening relationships and positively impacting the human development value chain in the country. The first social compact focuses on building the foundation for a transformed economy and society. The second one focuses on skills for a transformed. The second one, compact, focus on the skills for a transformed economy and society. And the third one relates to the building of a capable state and professionalization of the public service. The signing of these compacts, Chairperson, demonstrates government and social partner collaboration to address skill shortages in critical economic sectors. The social compacts prioritizes digital skills for the 21st century, aligning them with global demands for the fourth and fifth industrial revolutions. Honorable Chairperson, the Department of Higher Education and Training established a National Skills Fund that prioritizes employment creation interventions through the rollout of work-integrated learning programs designed to facilitate transition of graduates and technical vocational education, as I said earlier, and training colleges into labor markets, preparing students to go into the labor markets. This year, 800 million has been set aside for the National Skills Funds to develop skills in the digital and technological sector through innovative model that links payments for training to employment outcomes. Moreover, the Human Resource Development Strategy that is towards 2030 recognizes that education and skills in South Africa constitute the nerve center of the country's economic growth and the national transformation goals as set out in the National Development Plan 2030. The country's reconceptualized human resource development strategy and master skills plan, which is currently being developed, will give further impetus to our efforts of addressing skills shortages across all sectors of our economy. Chairperson, last week, on Friday the 8th, March the 8th, we held a Human Resource Development Council meeting, which took the form of a retreat. We, in fact, initially wanted to have more than 2 days, but because of other commitments, we condensed everything into a day. But this retreat is where we reflected on both achievements and challenges relating to the shortage of skills in critical sectors of the economy. One of the critical observations of the Council is that there is a need to improve the speed of policy execution across the state, but also bringing the private sector on board together with civil society to realize our global competitiveness. This initiative, Chairperson, is going very well, and all the social partners are participating, and this retreat has come up with new recommendations that are going to take us forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We will now proceed to the first supplementary question from Honorable Labuskaghni.
Your papers are snoring yet.
You also said everything, he fell asleep.
I think
Honorable Chair,
that's fatigue.
thank you for the feedback, Deputy President. I will not go into the fact whether somebody fell asleep or not. But we, however, have here another tale of two cities. The positive picture that you just delivered by giving us the retreat and the plans for critical skills and all these things, although I haven't heard any except the 800 million rand for the fund, but I haven't heard anything that has been definitely increased and become better. And then the reality of something like the Auditor General's report that says 67% of municipalities are failing on many levels. The Zondo Commission's findings on corruption and state capture, failing state-owned enterprises getting financial bailout year on year, as well as load shedding, crime, and the ever-increasing cost of living, all of which are having a devastating impact on skills development. So, Deputy President, what I would like to know from you is, as the incumbent chairman of the ANC's Political Deployment Committee, how can you continue to deny that the practice of cadre deployment is the base cause of service delivery failures caused by the shortage of skills, especially in critical sectors? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. I didn't want to talk about cadre deployment today, but I can see the members provoking me. Let me answer this way, Honorable Member Lubaskachne, that the Human Resource Development Council is real. It's not a joke. And in this committee, we have labor, we have business, we have civil society, and ourselves as government. And all of us are making sure that the issue of skills development for the country is a big priority. I just indicated that we had a retreat this past week. In fact, there is a report that I will send through to the NCOP for members just to see the plans and the recommendations that came out of that retreat, where business is involved and labor and civil society organizations are involved. And we're very clear that in the era where we are, we do need to target digital skills, new technologies as well, so that we move with the times. As the world changes, South Africa must not be left behind. But if you want to know about cadre development, I will make time for you to talk to you about that, because it is such a brilliant program that all parties in the world actually does it. Because if the DA does not develop its cadres, then you are deploying people who are not fit for purpose. Yes. We in the ANC make sure that if someone has to go and lead in any sector, they have the requisite skills to be able to do so. That's what cadre development is. It's all about. So we are not shy to talk about it. We are not embarrassed, because a lot of the people who are in the public service today, top people, have been trained by the African National Congress. Trained. You can pick and choose and say, oh, here, there's a problem in this municipality, etc. But many of the people in the public service today, top people, were trained by the African National Congress. Some of them sent to best schools in Europe, in America. That's cadre development. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Before we continue, let me take this opportunity to announce that we have amongst us a visitor, Dr. Mustafa Bagboti, who is the Secretary General and co-founder of the Palestinian National Initiative, PNI, also known as Al-Mubadara. A physician by practice, he has been a member of the Palestinian Legislative Council, the PLC, since 2006, and is also a member of the Palestinian Central Council, the PCC. In 2007, he served as Minister of Information in the Palestinian Unity Government. He ran for president in the 2005 presidential election, coming second after Mahmoud Abbas. Bagboti has worked extensively on defending human rights and internal democracy. Dr. Mustafa is the founder and president of the Palestinian Medical Relief Society PMRC since 1979. The PMRC has been successfully working in the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, and in Jerusalem. Since October the 7th, PMRC lost many of its team in the Gaza Strip and some of its infrastructure and buildings. Yet more volunteers continue to join the team. Welcome. Thank you very much. We now proceed to the second, just check again here.
The second supplementary.
Yeah. Yes, the second supplementary question. Honorable Mshodi.
Ka leboha modulasetulo. Ha ke qale ka ho leboha Deputy President. Deputy President, ha ke dutse ko mametse hantle o araba potso ena e ne e botsitswe. O e arabile ka bokgabane bo boholo. Empa jwale bothata ba ka ke hore motho ya e botsitseng ha tshwanetse a etse follow up. O bua ka di-Zondo Commission, o bua ka di-cadre deployment. But re ko lebohe mo Deputy President because ha wa tshaba hore o mo fe a free political education. So ntumelle modulasetulo ke botse potso ena ho Deputy President. Honorable Deputy President, aligned skills development with labor market demand is a problem that impacts most developed and even developed economies. As the world change and economic structure of a mode of production transform, new skill set are required, Deputy President. My question to you, Honorable Deputy President, is what skilling programs have been developed through government employment and internship programs? And do these programs complement the skills development strategy of the Human Resource Development Council of South Africa? I thank you, Chairperson and Honorable Deputy President. Thank you.
Deputy President.
Ha ke leboge Tlhomphegi kgaitsedi ya ka. Ke nnete hore go na le mafapha a fiweng mosebetsi ona. For instance, the Sector Education and Training Authority, they do a lot of initiatives in learning programs. And in different fields, they also recognize prior learning. They deal with internships. Some of them even offer bursaries to ensure that we can deal with the issue of skills gap. We also don't, ignore adults as well. So adults' education and training is also factored in. Re thuse batho ba bagolo le bona ba go fumana di skills tsena. So a re shebe ba banyane fela, because if we are to grow our economy, we need to ensure that many of our people do have access to skills. South Africa is a developing country. We have our own challenges, but the question of growing our skills and capabilities to ensure that we have a capable workforce is one of our priorities. Because if we do so, we'll be able to reduce the high level of unemployment costs. But batla fumana mesebetsi ka bana le bokgoni ba khona hore ba sebetse mesebetsi e gagolo mesebetsi e mentšha ya di technology e batla bokgoni. So we have to train our people. Ke ka mo ge the Human Resource Development Council e ke etelang pele mo president a ilang kopa teng hore you must chair this council and bring all the social partners so that the issue of skills e be a big priority ya rona. So ke a o leboga ka potso ya hore re etsang ka gore re leke gore di program tsena re di godise. We must develop these programs and ensure that we are able to reach out to many, many people. And by the way, Khaitsedi, it's working very well. It's sebetsa hantle ntho ena. Ke leboga go mena ha.
Thank you very much. The third supplementary question comes from Honorable De Bruyn. Honorable De Bruyn.
Thank you, Chairperson. Deputy President, since the establishment of the Human Resource Development Council in 2010, considering salaries and general expenses as well as the cost of retreats held by the HRDC, etc., what was the total cost to state for the HRDC? And what is the achievements of the HRDC over the same period? And would you say that the cost is justified by the achievements of the HRDC? And if not, why not? Thank you.
President.
Thank you, Honorable Member. I don't have the costs readily available, but let me indicate how the HRDC works. It's a council that coordinates implementation of work, but work is actually done elsewhere. I'll make an example. So institutions that provide training are schools, TVET colleges, universities, etc. So what we do in the council, we identify priorities for the country and therefore get these institutions to be able to prioritize those skills. That's why you find in the HRDC, you'll find ministers of basic education, higher education. They serve in that committee. They work with me because it is the institutions under them that does the implementation. So the biggest budget spent is not spent by the council. The council is a coordinating body that will meet maybe 4 times a year to bring all the social partners together. But the programs are in the various institutions. In some instances, our programs are also funded by the private sector itself. And that's why we have brought the private sector on board, so that it must not be like government must do everything on its own, but government must work with the other the trade unions are there, other civil society organizations, and they make a contribution in the running of the council. It's not a big body that requires a lot of people and budgets, because work is done by other government departments. The Minister of Labor also participates in the program. So it's a very, very important coordinating mechanism that must ensure that the whole of government focuses on this issue. And as I said earlier, it is doing very, very well. There was a time when there was a lack of participation by business, but we have now corrected that, and all the social partners are on board. But if you do want to know how much we do spend, we'll get that for you. It will probably maybe expenses for tea that we drink when we meet, and maybe for a venue. Really, it's not a budget that anybody should worry about. Thank you very much, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much. And now for the fourth supplementary question from Honorable Makwala.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Greetings to the Deputy President, distinguished guests, members, farewell and goodbye. It was nice serving with you. Yes, I must say our farewells. It's only a couple of months, list are out. So sorry about that. Deputy
Thanks for
President,
going.
given the concentration
Thanks for
of
going.
economic activities in Central Business District, CBDs, what step has the Deputy President taken to decentralize economic development and promote establishment of businesses and industries in underserved areas, particularly those areas where majority of Black population residents? What initiative has the Deputy President taken to upgrade infrastructure in these areas as to create conducive environments for economic activities and skills developments programs? I thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson. I thought we normally do goodbyes when Parliament rises. I think the member is too much in a hurry to leave. But in any case, bye-bye, Honorable Member. It was nice having with you. We will be back here, and we hope they will bring you back as well from the EFF. Remember, it's time for lists now. We must check if you are on the list. Let me say, Honorable Chairperson, that yes, one of the biggest way of intervening in the economy to create jobs is through infrastructure. So you're quite right. And you'll say that in other programs that we are busy with, there's a big focus on infrastructure. So yes, it's skills development, infrastructure, and you do need institutions to be able to carry these programs. And I'm sure you must have heard that recently, I think a week ago, Minister Blade Nzimande announced the opening of 2 new universities. One in Ekurhuleni, and that one is going to focus a lot on technology and skills. So they will offer courses in that respect. So these initiatives are continuing. When we have engagements of the HRDC, we also visit institutions. We go to colleges. We have our meeting in those colleges. We look at how they are operating, what are the weaknesses, do they need support in infrastructure, in learning materials. And I must say, Honorable Chairperson, that whenever I visit these institutions, the ministers also come because they have to take responsibility. If a college says we have a challenge with our classrooms, the minister is there to be able to follow up. So, Honorable Member, we are doing quite a lot. And if you move around on the ground, you'll see that there's a lot of infrastructure investment that is happening on the ground to be able to power our economy and create the much needed employment that the country needs. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, DP. We now move on to the third question. The question is on resolving water crisis and or disruptions. This question has been asked by Honorable Mama Rikhane and is directed to the Deputy President. Deputy President.
Thank you, Chairperson, and thank you, Honorable Mama Rikhane, for the question. Chairperson, government is currently implementing improvement plans as part of its rapid response interventions to resolve the water crisis and the electricity disruptions that are taking place in various municipalities in the country. through the service delivery war room. This is the war room that the president has set up, which I'm chairing. We work with the Department of COCTA, and we coordinate with other government departments. And we have developed a number of improvement plans to implement this rapid response intervention. You may have seen, honorable members, the Minister of COCTA in many municipalities out there. Yesterday she was in Tegwini, and today she's in the Free State. So we go to these areas to be able to work with municipalities on the ground. One of the things that we have established under this war room is what we call the Results Management Office. And then we introduce reforms in the municipal infrastructure grant. Particularly, this one is to fund the repairs and refurbishment and also renewal of infrastructure. For instance, when we were in Naisna last Thursday, we found that one of the problems they have there to supply water is pump stations that needed to be repaired and new pipes that needed to be set up. And the honorable deputy ministers who were there with me, Honorable Parkstow and David Mahlobo, were able to say on the spot to the municipality, you can apply for funding to be able to do this work. So as we are speaking, the pump station has been repaired in Naisna, and they are pumping water upstream. So these are, when we say service delivery war room, we're not talking about people just meeting in Pretoria. These are important intervention. We go on the ground. You know, Honorable Chairperson, when we were in Naisna, when we got a report from the mayor, and he was telling us about where the problems are, I immediately said to him, let's not take too long in a meeting. I want to go and see this place. And they were able to take us there. We were able to see for ourselves. And what pleased me a lot is that as I arrived there, they were fixing the pipes. They were fixing the pump station, and the service provider was there, said to me, Deputy President, by this evening, we will be pumping the water. That's what delivery intervention means. Yeah, it's not sitting in Pretoria and enjoying a nice cup of coffee. We go on the ground. And I must say, Honorable Chairperson, it was very hot that day. And we were walking in the sun, but we got things done, we got things fixed, and we're going to continue to do so. That's what we are going to continue to do. Yeah, Premier was there, but he came to protest. Yes. He was not far from where I was. I said, where is the Premier? He said, no, the DA is protesting that we were fixing things. So, Honorable Chairperson, there's a lot that we are doing, and we're going to continue to coordinate with the municipalities as well. We don't go as government and fix things, we work with them. And we are going to follow up and go back to Naisna, Fontaine, and other places. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable Mamarkhane, for a supplementary question.
A ke go leboge motlhompe modulasetulo wa ntlo Ntate Amos Masondo. Ke boe ke leboge motlhompegi motlatsa mopresidente Ntate Paul Mashatile. Go ya ka mokgwa o arabilego dipušo tša ka moka le nkarabile gabotse ke a leboga. Honorable Deputy President, indeed the importance of water preservation cannot be overemphasized given that we are water scarce country. Ka moka re a tseba ke re, tlhobaelo ya metsi. What emergency measures will be put in place to ensure that during load shedding or natural disasters such as lightning, water supply sources are not negatively affected? Ke a leboga, modulasetulo.
Deputy President.
Ke a leboga motlhomphegi potso ya gago. Honorable Chairperson, this is a very important question. Often when there's load shedding, the pump stations get affected. And as a result, they can't pump water because sometimes water needs to be pumped upstream. So you need the pump stations to work. So, Honorable Member, one of the plans that we are busy with, working with COPTA as well and the Department of Water, is to coordinate our efforts to ensure that they also come with alternatives. Because in many areas, we find that they use transformers to be able to get these pump stations to work. So we said to them, you can install renewable energy plants in some of these areas. You can also, municipalities can use what they call waste to energy initiatives. There's wind and solar. Particularly rooftop solar is very important because in those areas, when you don't have electricity, then the rooftop solar can kick in to ensure continuous supply. Because once the pump stations continue to work uninterrupted, then you are able to then supply water without interruption. We have also encouraged municipalities to look at other initiatives that will help them, because we agree with you that it's important that we must continue to supply water as much as we can. I know that in the long run, load shedding itself will be sorted out and be a problem of the past. In the long run, and yeah, you will be surprised, members, honorable members, that we may resolve that problem as early as this year. Yes, you're going to be surprised. I won't give you details now, but we are getting there. It's going to be something of the past. But in the meantime, let's bring this other renewable energy initiatives. It will help us a lot, will help municipalities, and we have agreed with COPTA that we will work with municipalities. They will use their what they call municipal infrastructure support agency to support municipalities. This includes providing water and sanitation infrastructure. There's a grant that has been put aside, which is about 20 billion rand, that is going to be used to support municipal infrastructure to ensure continuous support of services. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairman.
Thank you very much. Honorable Gadebe.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Deputy President, we've had reports from various constituencies regarding the root cause of water disruptions in many areas, which has been attributed to sabotage, where water lines are damaged for service providers to be called out at exorbitant rates. I would like to know, Honorable Deputy President, how does the government plan to ensure accountability and transparency in its rapid response interventions, especially in dealing with public funds? Thank you.
President.
Honorable Hadebe, thank you very much for the question. Indeed, there is sabotage in some areas, but perhaps let me use this word, maybe an easier one. There's criminality, put it that way. When I was in Neisner, and the service provider was busy there, I went into the pump station, and one of the things he was doing was to put a butler door and butlers on the window. And he said to me, we are doing this because people come and steal the cables. So we need to now put butler door, because sooner than we have fixed this, we may lose this through theft. So that's why I'm saying it might, in some instances, is criminality, which of course lead to sabotage. But people steal for various reasons. So in that situation in Neisner, what they did, in addition to the butler doors and stuff like that, they also had a security guardhouse in the premises, and they fenced the perimeter of the pump station. Quite costly, of course, in the long run to do this all over the place, but we probably have to do it so that we can secure this infrastructure, which is critical for the supply of services to our people. So yes, Honorable Khatib, in some instances, it's old infrastructure that creates problems. You find that the pipes have been there for quite too long. They need to be replaced. But in some instances, people do steal cables, do steal pipes. And so we have a big challenge to be able to ensure that we can protect this infrastructure, but we have to. And it can't just be police. I think communities must work with government. So police, in some of the neighborhoods, you've got neighborhood watches and so on. Let's work together to protect our infrastructure from the criminals, because it is them that create these problems, that makes our systems not to work properly. People can't get water and they can't get the electricity because cables have been stolen. So thank you, Honorable Khatebe. We're going to work hard to try and ensure we can protect this infrastructure.
Thank you very much. Next is supplementary question 3 from Honorable Shabangwani. Honorable Shabangwani.
Get that some Mozilla still.
Please proceed.
She's there. Yeah.
Deputy President, South Africa is in this dire state of affairs when it comes to its water supply. The ruling party has drastically failed to perform the simplest duty of ensuring that water and sanitation is supplied to our people. Across all provinces, we face infrastructural challenges as there exists a failure to maintain the old infrastructures, and corruption is plaguing new projects, as is the case with the Guyana project. Umzimbuvu project and the Glen William Dam project, just to name a few. What measures have you put in place to ensure that access to water and sanitation is not just a secondary concern, but an issue which is actually prioritized? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Shabangwan. Oh, I thought you said Shabangwan.
Yeah, Shabangwan, but Shabangwan is not here. So
Oh,
he took the question.
oh, my apology. It's Honorable who? Lihi. Tshwarelo Khaitsedi. Honorable Lihi. Honorable Lihi, ke nnete hore bothata bo bongata ba metsi ke this old infrastructure. But aso bothata ka hore ANC ya faila. Ke bothata ba lor ha infrastructure e le mole for a long time, it will definitely lead to this problem, irrespective of who's governing. So, Ronald Muso at the moment, we have noticed that problems. That's why when we are going around with COPTA, and I'll continue to make an example of the areas where I went to, whether it's Fontaine and so on, you do find that the problem of old infrastructure is there. So I always encourage the councillors. I said to them, when I was in NICE, I said to them, don't wait until there's a problem. And I gave them an example of the city of Joburg. And I said to them, when Pakstau was the executive mayor of Joburg, in my area where I stay, in Kelvin, they started digging and replacing pipes before there's a problem. They were taking the old pipes, putting the new ones, and I think the new ones are the plastic ones, which are more durable. So I was telling them that do the same as a municipality. Don't wait. You know how long the infrastructure has been there. Do an assessment and replace. Don't wait until there is a problem. So you're quite right that there is a problem that is also as a result of old infrastructure. My understanding, Honorable Lihi, is that the Giani project has been resolved some time ago. As far as I know, that problem was resolved, and the problem there was reticulation. So the dam was sorted, water's there, but they had not connected pipes to the community. Umzimvubu is also in a, I think, in a process of implementation. It took many years, of course, but I think the Minister of Water and Sanitation indicated that they are now going to start with that project. I think one of the things that the president should be commended on is to have a foresight, to have a minister just responsible for water. Perhaps many of us never thought it would be such a big problem. And today, because we have a minister for water and sanitation, a lot of the challenges are being addressed. New dams are being built. Reticulation is being sorted out. You can't do it overnight, of course, but I think that was the best decision for the president to prioritize this area of work and have a minister whose preoccupation is to deal with this challenge of water. And the minister have been everywhere in all the provinces dealing with this issue, has been to the Val, to eThekwini, and various places in KwaZulu-Natal. I was with him in Fontaine. He's been everywhere ensuring that indeed this is a priority. Ke a leboga, Mohlomphehi.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We now proceed to the fourth supplementary question from Honorable F.P. Smith.
Thank you very much, Chairperson. Through you, Honorable Chairperson, As we sit here, I actually just saw a message in Mogalakwena. Please note reservoirs have been closed due to low levels. So it's relevant. They're lucky they're still getting water. Other places don't get water at all. So, Chairperson, through you, will you as the Deputy President and as the ANC government take the responsibility for failing the people of Limpopo and South Africa in general? You failed to maintain electrical infrastructure. You also failed to ensure that all water and wastewater processing plants and pumping capacity have reliable backup generators or solar electricity capacity or even backup battery capacity to sustain these basic services during load shedding and electrical outages. Will this uncaring ANC government take full responsibility for these human rights violations? Thank you, Chair.
Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Member, we are a caring government. Very, very caring. And you know why we are caring? We're making sure that these services reaches everybody. Unlike you guys, during your time, you're only serving white people. Yes? The apartheid regime only made sure that white people had electricity, and the ANC came in and said, everybody must get, and these things don't come cheap. Some of our people are in deep, deep, deep rural areas today. There are electricity lines going there. There's water going to those areas. The volumes have increased big time. So it's not because I see that many people today are using the word fail, because it's election. Fail, ANC fail, we'll do it better. And you've done it before. You failed yourselves. You failed the black people. You who were governing the apartheid regime, yeah, they benefited all of you. So we came in. Oh, you had, yeah, but you are a beneficiary of that system. Yeah, I'm a beneficiary of a caring organization. A caring organization that came in and say, let all people benefit. You know, I don't know if, yeah. Because you are young, you probably have read the Freedom Charter, Honorable Member.
Honorable members, we have said over and over again in the past, there's nothing wrong with heckling, for as long as you make sure that the speaker is heard. Sometimes the temptation is very strong to have a dialogue with the Deputy President. Let's try and avoid
that. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let's avoid the dialogue. I was saying, I'm sure you have read the Freedom Charter, which says South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white. This is a commitment we made, and we will live up to it. We will make sure that we get the resources to reach to people everywhere, and including deep, deep, deep rural. We'll make sure they get electricity, they get water. We are doing that, and we are going to succeed because we are committed to this project. So, Honorable Member, you may use the word, we have failed, everybody, we have failed. but we know we are succeeding. We are changing the lives of our people for the better. Yeah, you must go out there and see the millions of houses that we have built. People are benefiting. When under apartheid, they did not get those resources. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now proceed to question number 4. This question is on district development model. The question is being tabled through MAP De Bruin and is directed to the Deputy President. Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable De Bruin, for the question. Honorable Chairperson, the district development model is in operation across the 3 spheres of government. Since assuming my responsibility as Deputy President of the Republic of South Africa in March 2023, I've been on the ground conducting several DDM-linked outreach visits to provinces, specifically to troubleshoot service delivery hotspots at the municipality level and implement interventions and come up with measures that are in line with the district development model. To this end, I have conducted outreach programs to different areas or different sites in the Northwest, in Gauteng, Free State, KwaZulu-Natal, Eastern Cape, and in Mpumalanga. This included interaction with stakeholders that assist with the implementation of the district development model in their localities. By the way, honorable members, we also in the district development model, we now include traditional leaders as well. Because in some of the areas, the traditional leaders are very key in service delivery. So it's not just government at national level with province and local, but also business, traditional leaders, civil society, and community organizations. Honorable Chairperson, on the 7th of March, President Cyril Ramaphosa led government interaction in the form of a district development model through what we call the presidential imbizo with communities and stakeholders. And this last one, which was the 12th one that the president did, was in Ekangala, district municipality in Mpumalanga. This 12th imbizo was part of the ongoing interaction with communities and stakeholders aimed at enabling successful implementation of what we call a one district, one plan, district model, development model, in line with the theme of leaving no one behind. The residents, traditional leaders, Khoisan leaders, business formation, organized labor, faith-based communities are also involved working with government. In fact, when I was in the Eastern Cape, the faith-based leaders came to complain, to say, we see you are doing a district development model, and we are not involved. So we started inviting them as well. So in addition to the visits that I've been doing throughout the country, the president has also been doing the presidential imbizo, and the 12th one was on the 7th. Honorable Chairperson, our interaction with these other partners have assisted in identifying areas of best practice and those that need strengthening in the implementation of one plans for municipalities. In particular, collaborating with the Department of Cooperative Governments and Traditional Affairs, that's COCTA, we are looking into ensuring that The implementation of the district development model leads to strengthening partnerships with development partners and investors underpinned by longer-term DDM vision and one plans. Through the implementation of the DDM, the African National Congress-led government will continue to invest in our people and ensuring that local government deliver and provide basic service to all communities without fail. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The first supplementary question will come from Honorable Debray. Honorable Debray.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Deputy President, seeing that it was meant to improve cooperation and coordination between different spheres of government, would you agree, Deputy President, that the district development model failed as a pilot project, seeing as there is still no cooperation and coordination between the spheres of government, especially if we are looking at what's happening in the Free State currently? And do you think this can be attributed to the fact that no consequence management was applied within the ANC to its municipal council members, which led to an actual misquote ANC government? Thank you, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you very much, Honorable Member. Coordination will improve with time. My experience, having been out there, is that people have bought into this model. Nobody's opposed. When we go out there, in fact, in almost all the areas, the premiers will be there themselves with their MECs, the executive mayors, with city managers, and everybody, and we go out together, we discuss these plans, we ensure that we implement. Remember, Honorable Member, that the reason behind the DDM was to ensure that the government can coordinate its implementation efforts. Because in the past, you'd find that maybe
Has the sound been expropriated?
Load shedding in Parliament.
Yes, it's back. Yeah,
it's back. Okay, it was a technical glitch. I was saying, Honorable Chairperson, that the reason behind the DDM was to ensure a coordinated implementation. So, Honorable Member, you're quite right that coordination is very important, and the DDM is really meant to fix that in the long run. We have started, and that's why we came with the idea of one plans, because The national government has got plans, provincial government, local government, that's your municipalities. But at the end of the day, you need to ensure that they dovetail together. You coordinate that effort through the DDM, the district development model, where you bring all the players to be able to focus. In the past, you'd find that maybe a minister comes of education and say, well, this community needs a school, but maybe there is no proper road going to the school. But if the Minister of Roads and Transport is not there, that initiative never gets taken. But if we combine our efforts, come with one plan, no, here we build a school, we need a road, we need water, we need electricity. So all those plans then unfold at the same time. That's the district development model. It's a coordinated approach to implementation so that we don't work in silos and someone is going in a different direction, another one in a different direction. We work together. And as I said earlier, everybody in the country has bought into this model as the best way for implementation. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you, Deputy President. Good to see you in the House again. Deputy President, yeah, lots of warm, woolly, fuzzy, happy-feeling words here about the DDM. Lots of imbizos and breaking down silos and planning. But the fact is, Deputy President, after spending 100 million rand on the 3 pilot sites, on 9 November 2022, COCTA itself revealed to Parliament that the return on investment has been negligible. In eThekwini, electricity, water, sanitation and refuse collection had collapsed under the ANC Mayor Kahunda stewardship and the ANC coalition's partner, the EFF. Unprecedented water and electricity outages are a daily occurrence because of the neglected and failing infrastructure. There are sewer spills in rivers and on beaches, and to add insult to injury, the city's customer fault reporting channels had completely collapsed. The OR Tambo district municipality is besieged by tender fraud, a lack of water and sanitation, service delivery, water and sanitation issues, roads infrastructure are collapsing, and it's all to the detriment of the poorest of the poor in that area. The Waterberg district municipality is not doing much better, with road infrastructure maintenance now being delegated to provincial authorities. No one seems to be sure, quite frankly, what the role of the district municipality is at the moment in that area. These are all examples of the DDM failures, as none of the issues highlighted above have been addressed by the DDM. Is it not time, Mr. Deputy President, to acknowledge that the DDM is just another failed ANC program that will end up on the growing pile-high rubbish dump of failed ANC policies? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Badenos has also used the word failed. It's like it's a coordinated, interesting coordinated approach here. No, I don't read too much into it. I hear it. Nobody has asked me a question, didn't use that word. No, Honorable Badenos, we are on the ground. Whilst you are complaining, we are on the ground. I just told you just now that the Minister of COCTA, as we speak, is in the Free State. Yesterday, she was in KZN, eThekwini. We go on the ground and we go there to fix, not to complain. And you know, this thing that you are dismissing about the presidential imbizo, you know, when the president is on the ground there and interact with communities, in those meetings, sometimes 3,000 people attend. 3,000. So this is not a joke. When you want to meet people, you must go where they are and interact with them and see for yourself what's happening, because you will be wiser to intervene if you work that way. So don't dismiss the imbizos, the outreach programs that we do. But I'm not surprised, because in the past, the government used to rule only from Pretoria. They didn't know where people live. They sat in Pretoria and make laws. Now we leave Pretoria and go to the people. That's what we do. We interact with them. We check the programs and the problems that they have, the challenges, and we fix. No, we don't create challenges. Where people live, there'll always be challenges. And the government must go where the people are, work with them. So Izimbizo, it's a very important way of ensuring that people participate. I'm not sure if you have heard about Nteresano in Gauteng, in Northwest, Tunsalerole. It's a way of going out to communities, engage with them, work with them, look at the problems, intervene. And that's why when the president asked me to lead the DTM, he said, go and intervene. Not go and do a research and assess, intervene, because intervene is solution-oriented. You come with solutions, you work with people. That's what we are doing. We are going to continue to do that, and DTM is succeeding as we speak. It is succeeding and is turning around the situation. It's involving people. Everybody wants to be part of it. As I said, traditional leaders, church people, everybody is coming in. You will be left alone, Honorable Badenos. Everybody is with the DDM. Thank you very much.
We'll now proceed to Honorable Mletsane.
Chairperson, it's Mukause.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair of the Council. Ndate Mashatile, your government is failing. Your government is not providing any solutions to the problems of South Africans. Back in 1994, Black majority gave you the mandate to go and change the lives of Black people who were marginalized. They gave you the mandate to go and provide basic services at the level of local government. So you are the same as the apartheid government. You are worse because Black people gave you the mandate to change their lives. As we speak, the sphere of local government has completely collapsed. A total of 128 municipalities were reported to be in a financial distress in the year 2021. The number of municipalities under distress increased to 168, with only 5% of those municipalities which are in a stable conditions. What solutions has the district development model provided in building internal state capacity so that state can improve service delivery level of local, construct and maintain infrastructure such as roads, stormwater, railway, basic services such as schools and houses. Hospitals are a priority, but they have collapsed. What are your solutions based on a district development model? Thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much. After the ranting by the member, let me once again repeat that the district development model ensures that the three spheres of government work together, and that's what we are doing. We are out there dealing with these issues as one government. Instead of working in silos, we work together, we coordinate, and there is progress out there. You know, there are many people who these days are beginning to say, you know, you are worse than the apartheid government, you are worse. I don't think they lived under apartheid, these people. Maybe we can forgive you, honorable member, maybe you were young at the time. Ask us who lived under apartheid, we will tell you that it is better today. When I was a student in the 1970s, 80s, I used a candle to study. Because in Alexander, we had no electricity. In fact, it was called dark city. And there are many of us who can tell you stories like that, where people work hundreds or 10 kilometers to school, because you'll have only one school in a village. Today, there are many schools in our communities. There are people who have houses now provided by the state, even in deep rural areas. They have access to water. But yes, when you supply services to thousands and millions of people, you are going to have the pressure. The infrastructure will have the pressure. The resources are going to be needed to deal with this huge backlog. So we are doing our best through the district development model. We are coordinating. And if you go out there, there are a lot of projects that are being implemented, particularly infrastructure projects. When I talk about programs like Tunsale Rule, maybe some members don't understand what it means. It's a service delivery program on the ground. They are fixing roads, they are fixing clinics, they are fixing schools. It's a program on the ground, working with people. It's not just going around talking. So, Honorable Chairperson, we will continue to work as others continue to talk. Because they can only talk. We will
I'm
continue
writing
to work.
on a point of order, Chair.
No, thank you
On a
very
point
much.
of order, Chairperson.
What is the point of order?
On a point of order, Chairperson.
What is the point of order?
I have asked Mr. Mashatile a question, and he continues to tell us a story. My question was, what solutions are the district development model providing? He
Yes, Chief Whip.
continues to tell us. Chairperson clearly shows the level of people you are deploying at this high
Chair,
office.
mute.
He
No,
can't
Chair,
even
mute,
provide
mute,
solutions.
mute,
He
Mukause, Chair.
cannot
You
even
can't.
provide solutions.
Mute, Chair.
Chair,
I've asked the question, why is he not responding? Why is he not
I move that
responding?
we should not
You're
allow
not
to
going
be
to
abused
intimidate
in
me
the
on this
House,
platform.
where an
No one
honorable
is going to
member who was
intimidate me
given
on
a
this
fair
platform.
opportunity to
If
raise
the
a question
deputy president
wants
is
to restate
incapable
exactly the
of
question she has
answering
raised,
questions, why
that
is
should
he
be ruled
here?
out of
Why
order.
is he here?
Now, a point sustained. Honorable members, please do not abuse point of orders. And we've tried in the past to really keep on reiterating, emphasizing the point and clarifying what a point order is. The point that the honorable, what's the name again? Honorable Mkause is
Because you are
raising
absent in
is
the house,
not
you
a
won't
point
even
of
know my
order.
name.
So I'll
Take her
order
out. Take her out of the system.
the table to please switch off that mic if he continues. Thank you very much. We now proceed to the last supplementary question from Honorable Dodov.
Point of order.
Yes, on what point are you raising?
Thank you, Chairperson. I'm rising, Chairperson, on your ruling, which is wrong, Chairperson. Yes, because Chairperson, that if a member raises, this is it's a session of questions and answers. The member have asked a question to the Deputy President, but now you're not allowing the member, the Deputy President, to respond on the specific question that the member has. That's why the member is called on the point of order, because this session, it's a session where we ask questions to the Deputy President, and if we feel that the Deputy President has not, you raise a point of order. And again, Chairperson, you were wrong to allow the Chief Whip to stand while you have recognized Member Mukause on the virtual platform, which is wrong, Chair.
Like what you're doing now, Honorable Makwala, we are using point of order to debate a point and to try and contradict what has been said by others. Please don't do that. Madam Nyambi.
Chair, the rules of the House are very clear. It's so unfortunate that we are at the end of the term. A presiding officer once has made a ruling. No one, not even a single member, can challenge the authority and the ruling of the chair. And the other thing, Chair, when the honorable member was asking the question, decided to be political, not even link it to the original question. And we listened to that because we respected her. And it's totally wrong for members to challenge the authority of the chairperson, unless you want to compromise and cause the decorum of this House. I appeal to members, let's respect the authority. If you are not happy about the ruling, there's a process, the rules are very clear.
Yes. Thank you very much, Honorable Nyambi. I'm sure that clarifies the issue. We'll now move on to
on a point of order, Chair. On a point of order. On a point of order.
Honorable, please proceed.
That does not clarify anything. Chairperson, it clearly shows you the level of people you are deploying.
Please proceed, Honorable Dodov.
Thank you very much, Chair. Deputy President, last week we made an observation. And the observation is that these parties are so disparate that they are looking for votes, and in the process, they act like predators. And that is what they are doing today as you respond to these particular questions, including the DA. The DA hate the DDM. They do not implement it and apply it here in the Western Cape, and this is a source of concern. Now, Deputy President, having had your response to the importance of private sector involvement in working with the government for effective implementation of programs as well as provision of basic services, as illustrated in the example of Anglo Platinum in Limpopo and Sishen mine in the Northern Cape, how will the government draw in more private sector participation and collaboration to ensure that social and economic development objective of the DDM takes place? Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dodov. You are quite right. Those are very good examples. The Sisheng mine in the Northern Cape and the Anglo Platinum mine in Limpopo, they actually provide funding for bulk infrastructure. And you will recall, Honorable Dodov, that the President in his weekly newsletter did indicate that there is phenomenal progress or remarkable progress with the implementation of DDM because of the move to real partnerships, where we no longer just believe in that government alone will be able to do this. Because the collaboration, for instance, ensures that we can bring various other players that will help with implementation. So what we have agreed upon in implementing the DDM is now to increase the partnerships, similar to this one that you spoke about. We have asked all provinces to begin to invest more in partnerships. In some areas, I know that in Gauteng, they've also been working very close with the mining areas. It's happening in the Northwest. I was talking to the acting premier there, Mr. Malloy, who indicated that they have a number of projects that they have now completed working with Sibanye, is that Sibanye? Yeah, the mining company. So they, and they are focusing areas like Marikana, where there were challenges. They are now building new facilities. So we're going to work with provinces and help them to coordinate with the private sector to implement more of these initiatives. And I know that even in Sekhukhune, in Limpopo, there are now new initiatives in that regard. It's a very important intervention where the district development model is not only reliant on government resources, but bring in private sector resources. So these similar projects, you're going to see them increasing with time to come in the future in various provinces. And we find that when we engage with the private sector, they are very amenable in ensuring that they bring on board the resources that are needed to roll out projects. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now proceed to question 5. This question is on transfer of agricultural land. The question is being raised through FJ Badenhorst and is directed to the Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Badenhorst, for the question. Chairperson, government is accelerating land redistribution through a variety of instruments, such as land restitution and expropriation of land in order to boost agricultural output. To this end, in 2023 budget vote speech, the Minister of Public Works and Infrastructure announced 221 land parcels measuring about 148,000 hectares that has been released from the department portfolio property to the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development for transfer to approved land claimants. Approximately 1.5 million hectares of land is also earmarked to be released before the end of this financial year. To further address the skewed patterns of land ownership, 125 land parcels measuring over 25,000 hectares of agricultural land was also released to support subsistence farming and food security. This is in keeping with what we have been doing over the last 30 years. Furthermore, the government is in the process of transferring state agricultural land through a program that is known as FALA, that is Financial Assistant Land Properties, where there has been compliance with the rent to buy agreements. The Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development is developing criteria for Category 3 and Category 3 and commercial farmers as part of the rollout plan for the release of state land. Category 3 includes medium to large scale commercial farmers who have already been or intend to farm commercially at various scales, but are disadvantaged by location or size of land or resource constraints that are limiting their growth. Under the Land Reform Program, the Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, as the custodian of the national state-owned land, receive requests from various departments, for instance, from Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development, and then they release land to settle land claimants for restitution and also for agricultural purposes. As government, we will prioritize providing extension and technical support, because we have realized, Honorable Chairperson, that in some instances we have huge delays because of lack of technical support. So we're going to provide this particularly through the Department of Agriculture and Land Redistribution, Land and Rural Development, to be able to provide and support and ensure that we can then distribute properties that are productive, because this will then also contribute to South Africa's food security. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. Honorable Badenost.
Thank you, Deputy President, for that answer. I'd like to know, though, specifically, it's election time now, so I'm going to give you a platform to do nice electioneering now. How much more agricultural land do you plan as the Deputy President in that portfolio to transfer to farmers and communities that are in need of those? And what is the time frame of that? And if you can also please just, if I may, ask you to elaborate a little bit on the technical support that you've just spoken about. You've mentioned technical support. Can you just elaborate on what type of technical support you are providing to those farmers? Thank you, Deputy President.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member. The amount of land that still have to be distributed will obviously be elaborated upon by the Minister. But of course, we want to make sure that we can reach out to as many people as possible. I'm going to have a meeting on the 26th of March with the National House of Traditional Leaders, because there's also a challenge when it comes to land that is under Amakhosi. So we're going to, in our meeting, one of the things we're going to discuss is how do we work together to deal with this question. You know that, for instance, in KwaZulu-Natal, we do have Ingwenyama Trust that owns most of the land, but also in other areas, Amakhosi are quite involved in ensuring that land is equitably used by people in those areas where they are. In terms of technical support, there are a lot of things that needs to be done when you transfer land. And in rural areas, you know that some of our people are not quite skilled, so they need to be assisted, when you deal with appropriation, there are a lot of legalities when it comes to transfer of land, whatever is needed. So the Department of Agriculture then provide whatever support that people require in that particular area to be able to be assisted. But the idea is that, when people need land for agriculture, we need to make sure that they are able to access that. And others may need land for other purposes. But the main thing that we want to do now is to accelerate the program. Because we know that there are many people who are saying, look, it's 30 years now. Please, we want the land. We are going to make sure that we assist to accelerate this program. So the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development is actually leading this process. And I'm sure that we will be able to accelerate the program. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Okay, thank you very much. Honorable Bibi.
Ngiyabonga sihlalo wendlu. Ngibingelele nakuwena Sekela Mongameli. Baba ngokuthi ngikwazi ukuthi namhlanje ngibhekane nawe ngale mibuzo. Kepha umuntu akaqale nje ahlakulele umbuzo wakhe Mongameli sihlalo baba. Wokusho ukuthi ukhongolose ukhathazekile kakhulu ngezimo zabasebenzi basezifama nangezimo abaphila phansi kwazo. Ngokuthi bahlukumezekile ngokunjalo namalungelo abo abukelwa phansi. Uphinde bangabi nawo namalungelo ukuthi akwazi ukuthi batshale kulomhlaba bakwazi futhi ngokunjalo ukuthi bangcwabe. Siphinde futhi Sekela Mongameli baba sibe naleli bhangi okuthiwa Land Bank okuyisona engakaze nje ize imsize umuntu omnyama esikhathi sobandlululo elalisiza kuphela abantu abamhlophe. Ngakuthe ukhongolose mase ingena sakwazi ukuthi kungeneleleke sikwazi ukuthi nabantu abamnyama ama-farmers ethu akwazi ukuthi athole usizo kulona. Umbuzo wami la Sekela Mongameli baba uthi what is the extent of linkage of the land release program with the Land Bank, the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development support programs, and other sister departments that consume agricultural products, such as schools, health facilities, prisons, and other state institutions. Thank you very much. Ngiyabonga baba.
Thank you very much.
Mangbonge mama. Umbuzo omuhle. Thank you, Chairperson. Lama institution lawo mama njengo Land Bank siwabiza ukuthi ama development finance institution. Short ke melane abantu. And I agree with you that in the past, some of them bebanganedi kakhulukazi abantu abamnyama kuma-rural areas abafuna ukulima, funa ukutshala kanjalo njalo. So njengombuso omusha senza sure ukuthi le Land Bank le isebenze nama-department kahulumeni ukuthi basupporte abantu abafuna ukulima, bafuna ukuba ama-farmers kanjalo njalo. So it's something that we are now doing. Khona into ezibizwa ukuthi ama-blended finance scheme, iy'mali ezikhona ezinedayo ukuthi abantu bakwazi ukuthi bangene baba amafama nabo balime bathole uncedo ku-Land Bank yethu. So we are now doing that. We are making sure that people can access funding to be able to participate meaningfully because uma unganayo imali ungeke ukwazi ukuthi uyolima ube ifama eqotho. Kufuneka ukuthi imali ibe khona. So it's something very important that the land bank must be accessible and provide lending to those who want to be in this sector, particularly those who were disadvantaged for many years, who did not receive these credit extensions and so on. We are now ensuring that the land bank is making sure that they are enabled to be able also to purchase lama farm. Because amanye lama farm mele bawathenge abakabi nawo. So mele bathole imali bathenge lama farm, bathenge nento zokutshala kanjalo njalo, so that they can be successful farmers nabo. Mangibonge mama.
Thank you very much. Honorable Khatebe.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairperson, Honorable Deputy President. The government's land reform project has been at best underwhelming, in that land that has been turned over to people has been given without the required support or training in order to ensure productivity on the land. I would like to know, Honorable Deputy President, whether there are specific mechanisms in place to provide ongoing support and training for startup farmers who receive transferred agricultural land. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Thank you, Honorable Khatebe. In fact, one of the biggest challenges for this program, whether it's land redistribution, restitution, has always been the problem of support. There have been instances in other provinces where communities receive land and it went to waste because they had no support to till the land. And that's why now we are focusing more on making sure that people who have access to land are assisted. And you are quite right, it's not just throwing money at the problem. Because if you want to be a good farmer, you better know how to manage a business, because it's a business. So training becomes one of such support, where people get trained not only to run a business, but also how to farm properly. Because farming needs skills. You need to know how to do it. Or if you are farming in cattle or sheep, you must understand them, what they eat, when they must eat, what they do. All these things is the support that we provide to emerging farmers. So it's not just access to funding, but also to the knowledge of doing farming properly. We can have a lot of farmers out there, but if they are not properly trained, they won't be able to do farming successfully. But I think the biggest challenge to us have been the fact that land can lay to waste, where communities are provided land and nothing is happening. And some of the people who land was bought from previously, they come back, buy back the land again. So you almost like working in reverse. So we are aware of all this and ensuring that we must intervene with all these support initiatives that we are now embarking on, blended finance schemes, training, and so on. Thank you very much, Honorable Member.
Thank you very much. Honorable Makwala.
Thank you, Chairperson. Deputy President, the majority of fertile and arable land still belongs to the hands of few white people. The EFF has on many occasions, here in this house and other platforms, argued that it is only radical transformation of land use which will lead to spatial planning and transformation, food security, reconstruction of South Africa's economy into more equal society. To date, there is no evidence that the team led by the Deputy President has led any changes in government understanding of land hunger amongst our people. Given the complexity of land reform and diverse needs of different communities, which measures have been put in place to ensure that the allocation of state-owned agricultural land aligns with socio-economic realities and aspirations of the beneficiaries, particularly historically marginalized groups? I thank you.
Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Makwala, I did mention earlier in my answer that there are various portions of land that are being transferred by various departments, particularly the department that is the custodian of government land, which is Public Works, is releasing land from time to time for many purposes, but in particular for agricultural purposes. The land obviously goes to the Department of Agriculture, Land Reform and Rural Development. So it is happening. We may have moved a bit slower in the past, but we are now pushing faster by ensuring that there are all these packages of support that we have put together, the blended support scheme. For instance, just some of the reports that are available will indicate, if you look at the proactive land acquisition strategy, more than 5,000 properties have been transferred to the value of about 12 billion. Just one example, and there are a number of them that are being transferred to people as we speak, and we're going to increase these numbers. I mean, 65,000 hectares has just been transferred through that program I spoke about called financial assistant land. So there are a number of programs that are unfolding. We can't mention all of them now. My program, chairperson, or the program that I work on is to work with the relevant ministers who are involved in this work. So we don't have our own program of distributing land as the presidency. We work with the departments that have been given that work. And I think the current ministers now who are dealing with these programs are pushing very hard to ensure that we sort out the obstacles and move a bit faster. So, uzawubona Honorable Makwala ukuthi kuyasetshenzwa manje. And it's not for elections. I heard you talking about elections. We are working. Whether there's an election or not, the people must benefit. That's what we must do. Okay. Yeah. Honorable Makwala, ngikuphendulile ne?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. If that's
He's happy.
If you're done, Deputy President, we'll then proceed to the next question, which is the last question for the day. This is question 6, and the question is on genocide case against Israel. Genocide case against Israel. This question is being raised through Honorable Mohammed Tango, and is directed to the Deputy President. Deputy President.
Honorable Ambassador Tango. Thank you, Chairperson. Chairperson, let me start by saying that as South Africa, we have no regrets. We were the first to bring about a lawsuit against the state of Israel at the International Court of Justice in The Hague to compel the government of Israel to end the deadly and relentless genocide bombardment of Gaza. The United Nations Humanitarian Agency estimates that more than 30,000 Palestinians, including over 10,000 children, have been killed. Over 70,000 have been injured, while 10,000 are missing and probably under the rubble. This brings the number of civilian casualties to well over about 110,000 as we speak. Amounting to roughly 5% of Gaza's 2.3 million population. Honorable Chairperson, we will not condone genocide. Similarly, I must reiterate South Africa's condemnation also of Hamas for the indiscriminate and wanton violence meted against civilians. We are mindful, Honorable Chairperson, that not every citizen support our government's decision to refer the Gaza bombardment to the International Court of Justice. We are also aware that some here at home and abroad started off by opposing our position. However, we are happy that they too have now revised their views, taking into consideration the number of deaths and sheer scale of human suffering. We also know that there are some for whom support for the state of Israel is an ideological, in some instances a religious matter. They will never be swayed no matter the facts and however persuasive arguments we have. There are, frankly speaking, some whose idea of human pain is informed by the pigmentation of the perpetrator or the victim. Others do not so much as care about anything that happens beyond our borders and would rather that we become an insular society, even as the world shrinks into a village. However, the ANC-led government will continue to engage every sector of our society, especially on matters that are contentious. Honorable Chairperson, our country is committed to the promotion of social cohesion, which does not mean the absence of difference, but the promotion of consensus and evolution of a practical program of action for progressive social change. It is in the context of Ubuntu and the building of a better Africa in the world that we remain committed to promoting the Bill of Rights, which enshrines the rights of all our people in our country and affirm the democratic values of human dignity, equality, and freedom. We will continue to pledge our solidarity with the people of Palestine in their struggle to end all acts of apartheid system by Israeli government and the genocide emanating from that evil system, and supporting their collective rights to self-determination. As President Nelson Mandela emphasized, and I quote, "Our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of Palestinians." Indeed, Chairperson, we will continue to move on this road of Ubuntu, which is mean I am because you are. We support the people of Palestine from the river to the sea.
Honorable Dango.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. Deputy President, the destruction and the defunding of the United Nations Organization for Human Rights and Welfare in Palestine and in the diaspora has got a particular purpose. That purpose is to deny the right of return to those who were forced out in 1948 and subsequently. I think we should share our own experience of the Freedom Charter of that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, so that all of those people who live in that area can in fact return to that particular area, and there is not a particular sect or person who only has the right of return, and that the law of Alia should not only apply to one sect of people. Further, Honorable Deputy President, there seems to be an inadequate appreciation or comprehension among some in our society about the foreign policy principles and objectives of our republic. At worst, there are those who intentionally or unintentionally distort or undermine our foreign policy stance internationally. How will the government ensure that there is a general awareness and understanding of our foreign policy principles and objectives, as well as creating a dialogue amongst political and non-political actors on matters of international politics to entrench a common understanding of our foreign policy objectives? I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Dango. Deputy President.
Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Dango, I can agree with you more about the need for engagement. Our foreign policy is really deeply rooted in our democratic system of government, our democratic constitution, which espouses justice and human rights. And the Palestinians must not be denied their rights. As we have ourselves for many years fought for our rights, we support them to not be denied their rights. They must be able to exist side by side with the state of Israel in Palestine. They must have the rights of occupation in their state. You can't have the occupiers having more rights than the people who own the land. But I agree with you that it's sometimes our people don't support our position because they don't understand it. And therefore, it is up to us to engage, to make sure that we educate people about our own foreign policy, our constitution, so that they understand why we take the positions we take, particularly to support other oppressed people in the different nations. We are going to continue to support the people of Palestine, and we must make sure that our people here in South Africa understand that they have to be part of this movement in the world. I mean, everybody in the world have been praising South Africa for having gone to the International Court of Justice when other leaders in the world were dilly-dallying, shaking. President Ramaphosa stood firm and say, we cannot allow injustice. We have to stand up, we have to support. And I want to quote what Minister Naledi Pandor said recently, that South Africa has a moral responsibility to always stand with the oppressed because we come from a history of struggle, a history of striving for freedom, a history of believing that everybody deserves human dignity, justice, and freedom. And this is the only reason that we have taken this major step as South Africa. That's the way to go, Honorable Dango, and we have to educate others. We must take our people along in this just cause. Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Deputy President. We'll now move on to Honorable Mtsamai. Honorable Mtsamai. Honorable Mtsamai. Going. Oh, okay.
Chairperson. Chair.
Honorable Tlhabangwane, yes.
Chairperson.
Honorable Tlhabangwane.
Chairperson.
Please proceed.
Chairperson, honorable members, I greet you. Deputy President, last year, the EFF marched to the Israel embassy. We called for boycotts of Israel-connected companies, and the EFF also presented a successful motion in the Nation Assembly to close the Israel embassy in South Africa. So the EFF wants to know why it is that following the EFF motion passed by the parliament for the closure of the Israel embassy and notwithstanding the temporal withdrawal of the Israel ambassador, have they not officially closed the Israel embassy and terminated all diplomatic ties with all apartheid states? So I submit.
Thank you very much, Deputy President.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tlhabangwane. Thank you, Chairperson. Honorable Tlhabangwane, we are together in this journey. We know that all of us, I'm sure everybody in this house agrees that we have to support those who are oppressed, those that violence is meted against. It may well be that as organization at some point will use different methods in this fight, but the cause, the journey is the same. We have also marched before. I'm sure you know that. We have protested. The president has recalled our ambassador. So there are various methods that we use to show our support, but also to protest, but to show that we condemn what is happening in Gaza. So if you have taken a decision that you want to march, we will not be opposed to that. But the issue of closing and the embassy, that matter has been dealt with at different levels, because we were also concerned that as we want to assist people in Palestine, we didn't want to close ourselves out. That's why we kept our embassy open, because if we closed their embassy and chased them away, they would have closed ours and would not have been able to go to that part of the world to intervene as we are doing, ensuring that there's humanitarian support that is being provided. But never doubt our commitment for the support of the people of Palestine. We are together. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Yeah, thank you very much. Honorable Detroit.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Deputy President, with reference to the heading of the question, which is the genocide case against Israel, and the fact that you have, on numerous occasions during this sitting, stressed the fact that you are standing with the people of Palestine. We must remember that this topic deals with military action between two groups, Hamas, the people of Palestine, and Israel. And it's no secret that the ANC is in support of Hamas and is assisting them in their fight against Israel. Now, Deputy President, have the South African government provided any assistance to Hamas and the people of Palestine in a direct or indirect manner in the form of military equipment or financial aid that could have been utilized to purchase military equipment in the so-called defense against Israel? If you can please provide information on that. Thank you, Deputy President.
Deputy President.
Sorry, I actually didn't hear the last. What about it?
Yeah, we can ask Honorable Editor to repeat the last words.
That's the last part about
Thank you, Chair.
Weapons.
Honorable Deputy President, I want to know if the South African government have provided any assistance to Hamas and the people of Palestine in a direct or an indirect manner in the form of military equipment or financial aid that could have been utilized to purchase military equipment in the so-called defense against Israel. If you can please provide information on that. Thank you, Deputy President.
Okay, no, now I've heard properly, and the answer is no. We have a way as a country in dealing with the issue of arms and how we sell arms, etc., and no such thing was done. We took a view that the intervention must be at the multilateral level. Even with aid, we work with the UN and other bodies to ensure that the people have access to water, food. We don't provide arms to anybody. In fact, you would recall that earlier when I was answering, I said we did condemn the indiscriminate killing of women and children by Hamas, Israelis. We don't condone that. So we are not supplying any arms. We're working with others to supply humanitarian aid for the people who find themselves in that situation, particularly in Gaza and those areas where they desperately need food, water, etc., not arms. We stand for peace. We support peace initiatives. We said so in Ukraine, and we said so in various countries in the African continent, in the DRC, that a conflict should be resolved through negotiations by peaceful means. South Africa is not going to support violence. We want peace, and the sooner the warring parties come to the negotiating table, the better. That's what we support. And we will do the same in Palestine. We want the killing to stop. We want the genocide to stop. We want Palestinians to have their rights. And that can be achieved through discussion, negotiations, like we did with our own liberation. There was a time when President Mandela said, it's time to negotiate, let's talk. And this is a success story that everybody in the world admires. Says, South Africa did so well. They sat down around the table and negotiated, and we stopped the bloodshed. It can be stopped in other parts of the world. It can be stopped in Palestine. Thank you very much, Chairperson.
Thank you very much. The last supplementary question comes from Honorable Mikalakis.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Honorable Deputy Minister, a study in February this year done by Women's Action Campaign South Africa found that 1 in 4 South Africans think that rape can sometimes be justified in war. Deputy President, this is not normal. This is not okay. On 4 March, the UN released a report stating that it has reasonable grounds to believe that hostages were raped and sexually tortured in Gaza by Hamas militants. Your government's silence on this was deafening until you condemned Hamas a few moments ago. Will the South African government put the same pressure on Hamas with regards to rape and sexual violence or sexual torture of Israeli women and all other women based on mutual or moral principles, on international law, and what form will this pressure take? Thank you.
Deputy President.
The Chairperson, I will condemn the rape and violence against women anyway. In the world, whether it's in America or in Russia or South Africa, it cannot be justified. So if indeed it is true that that happened, it cannot be justified. But you know, in where they are wearing parties and there are fights, sometimes people use stories, propaganda against each other. But let's all agree as South Africans that violence against women and children cannot be justified. It must be condemned wherever it happens. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you very much. As the Deputy President leave the podium and to move away from the podium to his seat, allow me, honorable delegates, to thank him for availing himself and to answer the questions that were raised here today. No, thank you for the participation, Deputy President. Honorable delegates, that concludes the business of the day. The House is now adjourned. Yes.
Recording stopped.
Siyabule.